Brace yourself. It's that time again. Welcome. Man, all right, this is the last week I'll talk about the roundabout. But look, I was driving down Grove Street the other day, and something dawned on me, and it probably should have dawned on me, say, a year ago when they started planning this whole thing. Because here's my idea. Instead of $4 million for a roundabout, why not, take $4 million and hire some cops to maybe direct traffic? How's that? Cops used to direct traffic. They'd get in the intersection, and apparently that was before electricity, when they had streetlights and stuff.
Because I remember when I was a kid.
Well,
Down there.
and I mean, the advantage of a cop directing traffic is a cop can look and see when the traffic's backing up and let them go through. You know, you don't need a roundabout, you just need to provide jobs. Yeah. Unfortunately, apparently they did a poll in the police department. There wasn't one white cop that said he'd direct traffic. You know, they were all above the whole directing traffic thing, so. And we don't have any illegal aliens up here willing to direct traffic. So, but anyway, that was just my idea. I was sitting there thinking, you know, they used to have cops that would direct traffic and no traffic problems. Put lights in, computerize everything. Of course you're going to have problems. You're turning everything over to machines. All right, news. I guess the big news this week that I saw, I didn't cover the school board meeting because I was busy playing with the boy Wonder. I helped him out the other night. Sorry. You know, I'd do anything for the kid. And he's leaving soon, so it was neat to spend some time with him.
So I had to take your place.
Yeah, you did. And you did a fine job, too.
It was a late night.
I watched some of it, Mike, and you did a great job. But yeah, the news in tonight's paper, the feds have cut off the phone service, the power, and the internet service to Ed Brown's house in Plainfield. Which, you know, is probably no big deal. Because the Browns have solar power and they've got wind generating capabilities. They've also got a house with reinforced concrete walls. So apparently this is a dude like with the survivalist thinking, and he's probably got a basement full of food and his generator's fueled up, and you know, he'd probably stay there indefinitely. But it looks to me like the feds are ramping up for another one of those wacky Waco assault things, you know?
I heard today they said they weren't going to.
But they showed a news clip of the feds rolling these like armored vehicles through Plainfield, like to show a force and everything, you know? Kind of like what we used to do overseas on the aircraft carrier, you know? We'd float offshore just far enough so the people could see you and know that you're out there with all your bombs and weapons of destruction. But anyway, you know, I don't know. You can't say anything bad about the man because he's only doing what he feels he believes.
Right.
And that's, you know, and apparently there is no written law saying you have to pay taxes. And if everybody just didn't pay taxes, then nobody would say anything to him. But it's the fact that one guy is doing it, and only one guy, and, you know, he's an easy target. All right, other news from Burlington, Vermont. Now, this is low. This is one of the lowest crimes I've heard about. Somebody actually stole the life-size figure of Ronald McDonald from in front of the Ronald McDonald House. up there. You know, it's like, I don't know, for cancer kids and things like that. But yeah, somebody stole this big figurine that usually sits out in front of the place, and now all the kids suffer over there. So, you know, it's stupid things like that that get me, you know. Why would anybody do that? You know, it's not like stealing money that you can actually use. I don't know. All right, my next little news story here is Dan Aykroyd from Saturday Night Live fame is opening an $11 million winery. Yeah, funny guy, huh? Old Mr. Conehead himself. If anybody remembers the old Saturday Night Live, Dan Aykroyd was one of the Coneheads. That was one of his biggest thing, and he was one of the Blues Brothers. And the Dan Aykroyd Winery will showcase souvenirs from the actor's career, and it'll be located near the town of Lincoln, Ontario. And it's really a dream, said Aykroyd, who was born in Ottawa. Says the winery will feature technologies such as solar panels and green-friendly wastewater management systems. So, really neat. Okay, two of them from the strange news briefs today. And, I mean, you couldn't write stuff like this if you tried. From Del Cambre, Louisiana. Mayor Carol Broussard said he would sign an ordinance the town council approved this week, setting penalties of up to 6 months in jail and a $500 fine for being caught in pants that show your underwear. So apparently the hip-hop boys will be moving out because, yeah, it says for being caught in pants that show undergarments or certain parts of the body. Broussard's advice for people who like their pants to hang low, just wear it properly. Cover your vital parts. I mean, if you expose your private parts, you'll get a fine. If you walk up and your pants drop, you get a fine. They're better off taking the pants off and just wearing a dress. So, yeah, finally somebody's going to crack down on this whole fad of the pants dragging the ass cheeks. God, I'm so tired of that. With the boxers pulled up to your tits.
But what about the girls that wear the little skimpy underwear that comes up out the sides of the pants now? You can see them. You know. You like that now, don't you? Huh? All right.
I don't know. All right, I do. But, I mean, they wear their pants tight. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, they're not baggy. I mean, the crotch isn't down around their knees while they're showing off. So it's not the fact that you can see their underwear, it's the fact you don't like the baggy pants. No, you can conceal too many things in them. Yeah, and that's the only reason kids wear baggy pants is because they can hide more stuff in them. I know, I was a kid. God, I used to smuggle cartons of cigarettes out of stores in my pants. All right, this one from Tokyo. Japan's first nursing home for dogs. That's right. How far are we going with this? It's going to come with round-the-clock monitoring by veterinarians and a team of puppies to play with the aging pooches to help keep them fit. Aww. Yeah. Owners will pay $800 a month to keep their dogs there.
Wow.
Yeah. And the home can house 20 dogs and will feed them specially fortified food. Researchers say that a boom in pet ownership in Japan, coupled with better health care and a more balanced diet, has led to a surge in elderly pets in Japan. So now, nursing homes for dogs. $800 a month to keep your dog in a nursing home, and chances are you won't even visit them like your elderly grandparents.
Child care.
No, it's weird. I thought I had some other local news, but I guess I don't. So, it's on to our crew call. So, crew call today. We've got a full crew here again. On camera 2, we have Al is back with us. Nice to have you back, Al. I know you're mad about the sweep, but hey, it's not my fault. That's what happens. On camera 1, we have Greg. And sitting next to Greg is our floor director, Jane. She's back with us, hanging out. And we don't want to make her work too hard. She's getting old. That's right. You had a birthday last week. That's right, yeah. And then you were sick the next day. Good way to spend your birthday. On camera 3, we have Mike back with us again. And while the camera's on Mike, I just want to say that everybody's wearing their brand new Unfiltered Truth is Freedom crew shirts that Gemini screen print got done for us today. And I want to thank BJ and the whole crew over there. They did a great job on them. We love them. So, yeah, it was a great thing. Now we can all look the same. And in the booth, we have Bruce and Andrea.
How's it going, Rick?
Good. How's it in there, Bruce?
We're doing okay.
Things are tense at the beginning of the show, man.
They're always a little tense right before the start. We want to make
I'm
sure
sorry.
things go off right. So
I'm sorry. We're trying to make
that's
everything
all right.
the
I know,
same every week.
You like a lighthearted
So.
show, but I like to make sure that we don't screw it up in the beginning. And you can screw it up all you want now, but at least we got off the ground.
Yeah, I know. And the one thing I know that's not going to be screwed up tonight is the NASCAR report.
Nope.
Because Andrea's got huge news today.
NASCAR report is not going to be screwed up.
All right, let us have it.
But when have I ever screwed it up?
You haven't. You've done a beautiful job every week,
The only time I
Andrea.
screwed it up is when I screwed it up for everybody that lost money last week
Well,
and the week before.
that's all right.
Because I won money 2 weeks in a row. Ha ha.
I know. So what are you going to do? Are you going to do the big news first, or are you going to do the race results
Actually,
first?
I'm going to do the little fluffy stuff first.
All right.
So last week they raced at Pocono, and Denny Hamlin was actually hoping he could get his third win in a row. Unfortunately, it was a rain-shortened race. They only raced 105 laps, and right at the get-go, Ryan Newman, who I told everybody a few weeks ago, y'all better hang on to your seat because he was coming on strong. Well, he had actually taken his third pole. And Newman, Hamlin, and Martin Truex actually had 3 of the strongest cars in the whole race. And had that race been able to go on, I think it would have been a real big shootout between the 3 of them. But as it was rain shortened, it ended up being Jeff Gordon taking it, and Newman came in second, and Truex ended up coming in third, which that in itself wasn't a bad thing. It left our standings a little bit turned around. We still have the top 5 runners in the standings with Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth, and let's see, Denny Hamlin, Jimmy Johnson, because Johnson actually lost 2 places, and then Jeff Burton. So that being said, I do want to make a special mention to, her name is, I'm supposed to be looking at Mike, and it's hard for me to look at Mike and do all of this
Why not?
at the same time. Yes, Mike, you're absolutely adorable. He's my little teddy bear, and he wears one of these pink tutus. That's what I think about in my dreams. What can I say?
I thought you'd forget about that by now.
Oh, I love you, Mike. This this is a special mention to Kay Ellis, who works with Bruce over at Smith's. She has been a major diehard Kurt Busch fan, and she was all ready to give up on him. Now, first of all, it's her birthday today, so happy birthday to Kay. Secondly, I just want to tell you, Kay, don't give up on Kurt. He actually, even though he dropped down like a rock, after his penalty, he came back up one place in the standings last week. So they're being, including this week at Michigan, they have 11 races to go before the chase begins. So he has plenty of time that he could actually make a little headway. So don't give up on him, Kay. Anyways, let's go on to some other stuff. All right, let's see. At Infineon this week, or not this week, excuse me, Next week, I want y'all to start looking out for Terry Labonte, who he's going to be racing in the 55. It's going to be just a special race for him because, as most of you know, Terry Labonte has gone to just a select scheduled amount of races. Now, starting this week, John Andretti is going to sub for Kyle Petty in the 45. He's going to be racing 4 races while Kyle is in the booth doing some announcing. And let's see, I think that's just about it. Now, for the big news that everybody knows about. It is no secret, and it's happened about 2 days ago, and that is Dale Earnhardt Jr. has now signed with Hendricks. So when he signed, obviously you can't have 5 cars, so none other than, they call him the Shrub, I call him the Little Weasel, or the Stinker, whatever you want to call him. He's out the door. But
It's
he pretty
obvious
much,
we don't like him.
yes, Kyle Busch, I have to say his name. He thinks he's just about the hottest ticket in town now, but personally, I don't think so.
Does that mean you're gonna like Gordon now?
No, I'm not going to like Gordon now. I'm just not going to like Gordon now. Now, I do have to give you a little bit of fluff for this story with Dale Jr. signing. When he was 16 years old, Mr. Hendricks saw him and jokingly said, how about you sign a contract, mate? Whereas he whipped out a napkin and Junior put his name on it. At some point along the line, he said to Mr. Hendricks, you know, I thought you forgot all about it. And Mr. Hendricks said, no, I was just scared of your daddy. But that being said, he is now starting his 2008 year with the Hendricks teams. Now, his sister Kelly and Hendricks are getting together. They're hoping to keep the number 8 with him for next year, but that's not cast in stone. It could be that he ends up still driving the number 5. They could have another car for him to drive, another number for him to drive. Nobody really knows for sure. They're not sure if Budweiser's going to stay or what's going to happen. So don't be throwing all your number 8 stuff out. Don't throw your Budweiser stuff out. It may still come in handy. It just won't say DEI on it. But anyways, that's pretty much the news in NASCAR right now. And like I said, Dale Jr. was the biggest news. So anyways, look forward to him at Michigan on Father's Day. And have a good one.
Thanks, Andrea.
Sure.
Another great job.
Thanks.
All right, and with that, we'll slide into the 70s. Back when things were, I used to say back when things were happy or things were nice, but back when things were pretty much the same as they are today is what it is. Because this week, back in 1977, the headline was Study of Hydroelectricity Killed by City Council. And this was, they were trying to decide whether they should look at the possibility of the Ashwillet River supplying power. And it was voted down. There were 2 of the biggest supporters were John Shortledge Jr. and Peter Espius. And they were outvoted, and the result of the action was that city officials were going to notify the Federal Power Commission that Keene won't be studying the river's potential and is willing to give up its sole right for the river's power. Imagine that. I don't know. Maybe they should think about something like that today. Because, yeah, why not stick a water wheel out there and just let it spin? I mean, what harm could it do? That's what I can't understand, is what harm could anything like that do? You know, no matter how little bit of energy it produces, eventually it'll pay for itself, and oh well. A couple of other small ones. This one I pulled just because of the whole Ed Brown thing. In 1977 this week, man convicted in tax case. Henry Caron of Merrimack's been convicted in U.S. District Court of failing to pay income taxes. And he was a former owner of the Layton Hotel in Nashua. He received a 3-year suspended prison sentence and placed on 4 years probation. They said he failed to report most of his $79,000 taxable income for the years 1970 and 72. And they said he owed more than $18,000 in taxes, but only paid $172. And the IRS said it will take civil action to collect taxes, penalties, and interest owed. So there's pretty much the same thing. So see, 30 years, nothing changes. Same old thing. Apparently this guy didn't fight because it was only a little small news brief, so he didn't draw attention to himself. The other one on this page was kind of funny. It's New Hampshire Chiefs seek citizens' help. The New Hampshire Association of Police Chiefs has launched a campaign it hopes will encourage greater citizen participation in law enforcement. And the plan was called Dimes Against Crime. And it said the plan urges people to call police about any suspicious activities. And they had made up a bunch of wallet-sized cards with emergency phone numbers on it and a place in the back to hold an emergency coin, which back at that time was a dime to make a phone call. You'd need one to hold 2 quarters now, I guess. But no, it was
People have cell phones now, though.
it was a good idea, you know, and everybody has to be responsible for everybody else's security. Well, you have to watch out for everybody else, you know? Make sure that nobody's getting hurt,
Yeah.
you know? Oh, well. This one I pulled because it made me think. It's an article from Los Angeles. It says, who pays attention to guys on a bike? It says the police department has presented the bad guys with a new threat. Anybody on a bicycle could be a cop. Yeah, now this is 1977. The newest police squad is a team of officers who weave around town on 10-speed bicycles, catching criminals in the act. It's been going on since late May and with amazing success. And of course, bike riding cops can go places that cars can't. They can get in and out of traffic easier. They said in the first couple of weeks, we made 7 felony arrests, a grand theft auto arrest and recovery, and just recently 2 officers rode into a robbery in progress. They said it was in the Skid Row section, and a couple of guys had taken a wino into an alley. One guy had the victim with a knife to his throat and was taking the money, and our guys rode right up to him and made the arrest with no one being hurt. They said in another arrest, the bike cops rode right up to 2 men in the middle of a burglary. And the suspects were removing garments and breaking into a store. He said, we're talking about thousands of dollars worth of material, and the officers pedaled up and the thieves just kept doing what they were doing. Later, one of the suspects said he thought it was just a couple of guys looking for a job to do themselves. Because apparently these are not your regular bike riders. He says, the police chief says, if we can create the illusion that everybody out there on a bike is a possible police officer, all the better. There are a lot of bike riders in this town, and my boys all have long hair, and they're not, well, the cleanest types in town. And they mingle with the rest. We're going to make the criminals not only look for black and white cars and unmarked cars, but every single bicycle that they see. So, and that made me think, what happened to the bike cops?
Yeah, we used to have them here, didn't we?
Keene, just last year I saw them. And then this spring rolled around this year and I haven't seen them.
We also used to have the ones that would walk around.
Apparently there's
They don't
no
have
money
them
in the
either.
budget to maintain bicycles.
I have seen at least one bicycle cop out this year in Keene.
Have you seen
Yeah,
one?
he's been downtown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I haven't seen any of them this year, so I don't know. All right, it's time for Mike Blasto Says. And this week, Mike Blasto says, did you read recently that the Russians are planning to dig the world's deepest hole? I'm not making this up. They plan to dig a hole 9.3 miles down. It was only yesterday that Nikita Khrushchev was ranting about burying us, Now it seems the Russians are hung up with shovels. When I was a kid, we used to say that if someone dug a hole deep enough, you might start to hear people talking in Chinese. Say, do you suppose the Russians are planning to attack the Chinese? No. Do you suppose the Russians are planning a sneak attack on the Chinese? Quick, call our ambassador in China. Does anyone have a telephone book? What's the number for San Clemente? Weird. But of all things, ranting about the Russians digging a hole. Who cares? They're digging a hole. Come on, Mr. Mayor. That was probably right when he decided to run for mayor. Something. I don't know. Anyway, that's Mike Blasto says this week. So, CD. I picked a good one this week. It is Billy Joel, The Stranger. Get my little card here. An album from 1977. And now this guy was, and still is, an amazing piano player. So, this album's got love songs, it's got rock and roll songs, it's got some good funky things. And it's funny because I saw Billy Joel when I was in a service in 1980 at William and Mary College in Virginia. And I just want to say that them students out there, at least back in the early 80s, there's some tough girls out there, man. We were hanging out with one of my buddy's sisters and some of her friends. And to be honest, I was out-chugged by a bunch of girls. Yeah, man, it was a sad night, yeah, for the United States Navy. Like, I swear, these girls, I mean, a couple of them were big bruisers, lacrosse players or something, I don't know, field hockey. But, yeah, they could drink. But this is an album from back in those days. A lot of the songs we were listening to, Only the Good Die Young was one of these famous rock songs, and it's still played today. And Moving Out is another one that he actually, I think, based an entire like Broadway thing with Twyla Tharp on that Moving Out song. It's got love songs. It's got Just the Way You Are, She's Always a Woman, and one really like old funky sounding. It's a thing called Get It Right the First Time. And if anybody remembers back in my day when you were buying 45 albums, little 45 records,
Okay,
45s were the ones with a big hole in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 33s were the little ones.
Used to have 78 still.
Yeah. But on the flip side of Only the Good Die Young, which was killer when it first came out and everybody wanted it, the flip side was that Get It Right the First Time. And I used to think it was a crap song, you know, and then
You grew up.
I grew up, and it's a hardcore piece of music is what it is. But yeah, Billy Joel, he's been around forever. And, I mean, this is his first one, right? No, the Piano Man was his first one. So this is like his second or third, I think. Fantastic album. Definitely a collectible. All right.
What was the third? It was the Piano Man, Glass Houses, and then that one.
No, Glass Houses came after.
Did it?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that's that. Out and about. All right. And I'll start with some birthdays, seeing how Andrea started with her birthday for her NASCAR fan. Some birthdays is actually today. Donald Trump is 61. And it's funny because in the paper, in the little birthdays thing, it says television personality Donald Trump. Like not like just billionaire Donald Trump or like whatever he is, real estate mogul or however he got his money, you know. It's, yeah, TV personality, Donald Trump, 61. Boy George. Does anybody remember Boy George?
God.
He's 46.
He's my age.
He's our age, yeah. He's our age. Yasmin Bleeth, who I believe was a Baywatch girl. She's 39. And tomorrow, Bruce has a birthday. And happy birthday, Bruce.
Happy birthday.
Thank you there, Rick.
And I see I've got ages for all these other people. And apparently tomorrow you are just as old as rocks.
As old as rocks,
Yeah.
older than dirt,
Older than
A
that.
little older than dirt.
just a little older than
Yeah.
dirt.
Not much, though.
Well, not to pump another show or another personality on Cheshire 8, but for my birthday, Andrea's going to be taking me over to Luca's Mediterranean Cafe. We're going to experience the Luca's experience for the first time, so it ought to be a great time.
Oh, I bet you will. And he was on Tracy's show last week, I think, or 2 weeks
It was
ago.
a few weeks ago, and that was what decided it for me. I wanted to go check it out and see what he's all about, because he looks like an exciting guy and somebody that's really passionate about his food. So.
Oh yeah, and he's done
He goes on Channel 9 all the time.
yeah, and he also does a show here he does a show here,
Does he?
and
But I'm
Yeah.
on Channel 8, so I don't see
he
it.
can make 4 episodes of his show in the time that it takes him to go to Manchester to do a 3-minute spot. Just weird, but all the traveling and back and forth and
No.
just, but anyway, yeah. Well, I hope you guys have a good time. I'm working graduation tomorrow night, so anyway. And speaking of graduation, I'll start my out and about with graduation. Because graduation night, it's an important night. And I know a few seniors, and they've worked hard to get to this point. And I know I missed my graduation night because I was already in the service. But I know it takes a lot to get to this point. And you've held it together, and you got to graduation night. And for people that aren't high school seniors, and you're out tomorrow night, be careful, because there will be drunk kids around. I mean, no getting around it. Project graduation is a great thing, and I hope every student goes to it. But I know that it won't happen. Everybody doesn't go to project graduation.
For that matter, Rick, there will be drunk. Everybody's around, and they all need to watch it.
Yes.
Yep.
And what I want to say to the seniors is you've earned it. You've got through high school, some of the toughest years of your life, to this point anyway. Don't worry, it gets worse. Go out and enjoy yourself, but be careful, because we don't want to lose you now.
Be safe.
As taxpayers, we have way too much invested in you to lose you now. All right? So, all right. So enjoy yourself and be safe. And this weekend, Saturday night at Gino's, Next Generation. At the Hot Spot over in Rockingham, there's no entertainment because apparently this weekend is Bellas Falls Alumni Days or something. Some big happening in Bellas Falls town thing. At the Calvin Theater in Northampton, which is a beautiful little theater, Janine Garofalo and Patton Oswalt, 2 comedians. Patton Oswalt is the guy that played Spencer on King of Queens, the little round guy. His stand-up stuff is a riot. I've seen him on Comedy Central, and she's pretty crude herself. So, hi, Bruce. Oh, sorry. I'm just talking, man. But some other things maybe to do. I saw this ad in the Sentinel. He's waving over there.
I'll be back.
Hi, Bruce.
Sorry, he's got me all distracted now. I was going to give this real serious thing about this train thing now. It's in tonight's Sentinel, an ad for the Green Mountain Flyer Railroad over in Bellas Falls, and it's a Father's Day excursion that leaves at 11 o'clock in the morning and returns at 1 in the afternoon with live music on board, and dads ride free with
Cool.
with a paid adult ticket, or with a ticket holder, with an adult ticket holder.
Adult
that-
ticket, so a kid can't bring their dad.
Well, a
Has to be
kid
another
can if the
adult.
kid buys an adult ticket and takes his dad on for free. I mean, see, usually it's the other way around, but in this case, the kid can feel important.
Okay.
So, but No, and they have other little excursions. And for anybody that hasn't done it, I mean, people my age, people with kids, take the damn kids to Bellas Falls and let them ride the train and see what life used to be like. I mean, it's like stepping into the past, you know? Because we used to have trains in Keene.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. And eventually the trains will just be something that kids buy as toys.
Yep.
And half the kids never realize that those things were real and people used to ride in them. But yeah, go over and take one of those little excursions. They've got a couple coming up to Burlington to the fireworks show in July, to the Burlington fireworks show. It's a little train excursion up and back. So, and other little stuff. Check out the paper this week or look up the Green Mountain Flyer. So, all right. That's my out and about, I guess. The movies, same old things are playing. Shrek, Pirates, all the Ocean's 13, and the newest thing that's in the theaters this week is Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. So,
Yeah, good movie.
yeah. All right. I'm going to start with Paris Hilton. Because she's in the news again because she's back
She's
in
better.
jail.
But she's all better too.
She's back in jail. She didn't have nothing.
She was in the hospital in jail, and they just took her out and put her back in population because she's all better.
All right. But before, when she got out the first time, she was just scared or something. She wasn't sick. I mean, I've been to jail. Of course, I wept like a baby for the first 2 weeks I was in jail.
Did you still want to talk about roundabouts? Being told
No, I
right
actually
here?
threw that in. That was the whole cop directing traffic thing, Bruce. I needed something to open with, so that was the one I picked. I figured you'd get it. Yeah, but after out and about, it's all just junk. So you should write that. On your card, scratch out everything below out and about, and just write Rick's junk. Because that's the stuff I'm talking about now.
Follow me if you can.
Any
It's
plans
crap.
we had just went right out the window.
Oh no, it's
Winging
still, I've got the same pretty much order that I'm going in, but I just don't know where any of it's going to come out because the stuff is just spinning in the brain. So keep up if you can. I'm going to even go over here.
Paris. So are we still on Paris?
We're on Paris.
Okay.
And all the treatment about how she's special treatment and stuff. Of course it's special treatment because I watched it live. I watched the sheriffs go to her house and I timed it. The sheriffs were in her house for 20 minutes before they came out the door with her. Last time the sheriff came to my door, which I believe was because I was a few months behind on my child support payments, they didn't even come in. As soon as I answered the door, I was out in my underwear, handcuffed, and in the back of the cruiser. I didn't have time to call makeup artists in, say, make me look shitty so I can go in front of the judge and look sad. But it was something weird because 20 minutes in there, and then she comes out, and she's giving hugs and kisses, and God, just a horrible scene up there in the Hollywood Hills. But she's found the Lord.
Yes, I heard that.
Paris Hilton's found the Lord.
Jesus.
A week in jail, and
Hallelujah.
she has found the Lord. Hallelujah. All right, moving on. Everybody's bitching that she is back in jail, and I'm going to tell you a story that a lot of people have forgot right now. Tell you a little story about a man named Mr. Ramos and Mr. Campion, who are two border agents who are still in prison for shooting a drug dealer in the ass, a drug smuggler. This happened back in, I believe it was September. The Mexican government screamed that they wanted them prosecuted, and they were prosecuted by Johnny Sutton. Apparently this drug smuggler is suing the United States for $5 million, and there's a rumor that we have already settled for 3.7 million,
It's disgraceful.
and we did not even get any weed out of the deal. We gave him $3.7 million for nothing. At least take the man's weed. Unless the government just kept it all for itself. For the government heads. Is probably more likely. Meanwhile, the October shipment that everybody was talking about, where the same drug smuggler a month later came back across the border with another load of drugs and the U.S. Attorney General's business card in his pocket.
Aren't we smart?
I guess
Go.
he must have taken the patch off his ass where he got hit.
Apparently it's not who you blow, it's who you know. And as long as you got the U.S. Attorney General's business card in your pocket, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. Meanwhile, Ramos and Campion are in segregation 23 hours a day and will be for the next 11 years. Unless we do something. And that means write to your congressmen, write to your representatives, and tell them this is wrong. These were border agents protecting the border and doing their job.
What is it they were charged with?
Oh, there was trumped up charges of a cover-up because apparently the scene of the crime wasn't, the scene of the shooting wasn't handled properly. And then
So they're not
I'm
in
not
jail
sure.
for shooting him in the ass. They're in jail for the way the case was handled or
it's
something? The crime
there was
scene?
like cover up and I mean a whole crap load of stuff was issued. The U.S. attorney was saying that this Ramos guy was a wife beater on top of everything. And I saw his wife on Glenn Beck saying, you know, we had our problems in marriage early on, and you know everybody that's been married knows what that can be like.
Mm-hmm.
But she says we've got over that, and he's the most loving and caring guy that anybody'd ever know. And one of them was actually gonna be border agent of the year or something, or of the month. And all of a sudden, that's all this bad talking, and it's some governmental it's crap, is what it is.
Yeah.
So write to your congressman, write to your anybody you know, and say it's not right. Get these guys out of jail. You know, and you know, I don't mind if the weed comes across the border, but keep the damn smugglers and illegal immigrants
No.
on the other side of the border. Which brings me up to my next point. Illegal immigration. Another big issue. Now, I want to get things straight right from the start. I'm not a racist. I'm not against immigration. This country was built by immigrants. Of course, it was on the bones of the Native Americans, but still, built by immigrants. The only difference between then and now is that those immigrants came through Ellis Island. Ellis Island was a place in New York where when you came to America, and I'm sure there was a place on the west coast, I'm not sure what it was on the west coast, but the east coast was Ellis Island. You got processed through, your name got written down, you know, you got issued all your, you know, these are, you know, the rules for being American, whatever they give you, you know, like the little fish and game manual or whatever. And go and prosper and welcome to America. And there's not one country that you can go to and get into without telling anybody. Every country you go to in this world, you need to have a passport. And they stamp the stuff and you go through that country's customs. And they know that you're in their country. You know, just, if people want to come to America, that's great. But come to the door and, ask if you can come in. And we'll say, sure, come on in. Because
We're all immigrants.
you can pay taxes just as well as anybody else. And that's, it's weird. And people scream about illegal immigration and how we should just let it go on. But why? All that does is puts people that we don't know who they are or how many there are in the country. I mean, a real ID is the whole real ID plan that they're talking about instating. It's a good way to figure out who we've got here to start with, But, I mean, if you've ever had a driver's license, that's a real ID, sorry.
Yep.
And with computers, it doesn't take a real ID. It just takes your name and, a couple of numbers. Your name, your driver's license number, your name, your social security number. And your entire life is on a computer somewhere. But anyway, let's everybody's doing the wave. I thought it was just, you were cheering because I was talking good things. But no, who cares? If the immigrants want to come in, let them. Just come through the door, please. We'd like to know who you are. And, we'll treat you like every other American. We'll hate you. Come to America, where our cities are filled with crime, and you can die just like an American.
Go on
in the
welfare, we'll
streets.
pay for you.
Over $10. So, yeah, Where else but in America can you get beat up for $16 and a pizza? This, I've got a little bit of time. Good. This I found a few weeks ago. It was on MSN Money on the internet. And it's selling body parts for cash. I know that sounds really weird, but it's actually illegal to sell your body, even after you're dead. But a lot of companies these days will take fluids and things and pay you for your time, your donation time. One of the biggest is plasma. And if you've ever donated blood, you can donate plasma. You can sell plasma. It's used to manufacture life-saving clotting factors and immune boosters. And those therapeutics comprise a $7.8 billion annual global market, and more than 70% of the source plasma originating from inside Americans. 10 million of the 12 million liters is from paid donors, and many of the regulars pocket $200 a month by plasma. And eligibility requirements are similar to giving blood. You have to be at least 18, weigh at least 110 pounds, and be free of communicable diseases and basic good health and strong iron levels. In the United States, you can give up to 193 pints a year, which is far more than any of the other countries allow. But plasma is 90% water and it regenerates in 48 hours. So some companies will pay extra to bring you back. So the first visit in a week, they might pay you $25, and if you come a second time in the week, they may give you $35 for the second visit. So, and just so everybody knows, it is a large bore needle, just like drawing blood. So, but it's basically the same procedure. You go in and you get your vital signs taken, and you lay back and you let them draw the blood out of you. So now here's another thing you can sell, and probably people are already thinking about this. Sperm donors. That's right. But you want to talk about rejection? Get this. About 95% of the men that apply to be sperm donors don't make it. It's that tough. Yeah. You do better in a bar.
That's bad.
For those who do make it, though, it can mean up to $1,000 a month for 1.5 to 2 years. So you could finance your way through grad school by donating sperm.
I wonder what the rejection, what the outline is, though.
Here we go. For every 1,000 men who seek information about the California Cryobank, only 9 become donors. So 9 out of 1,000. The applicants complete a 40-page medical history covering 3 generations. And then it's up to buyer preference. The ideal donor? 6 feet, medium build, medium complexion, blonde or brown hair, green or blue eyes, a college background, and dimples. That's what women want.
And no history of cancer, probably.
And although it's not an industry that keeps a real good count, estimates say that it's an $80 million industry with some 1,500 active sperm donors. So yeah. And for you women, your egg is 90,000 times larger than the male sperm, so it's worth more, of course. A recent survey turned up an average of $4,217 per donation, but a lot of clinics didn't participate, and donors frequently claim payments of $10,000 or more. And the ones targeted for egg donations are typically young co-eds, very healthy, tall, bright, beautiful young women. If she's on a soccer scholarship or just won an arts grant, even better.
And it's painful to
But
donate.
it is, yeah, it's quite a bit different than sperm donation. And it carries some health risks. Because to stimulate the production of extra eggs, the donor is placed on hormone injections for weeks, and then the eggs are extracted under anesthesia with a needle. And the process can cause ovarian hyperstimulation, which in rare cases can be life-threatening. What else can you sell? How about hair? Wig companies will pay up to $5 an ounce for hair that's in decent shape. Yeah. As long as it's not severely overprocessed, is at least 12 inches long, and is packaged properly. A foot-long ponytail weighs 2 to 8 ounces. So, I mean, it's not much money, but it's a little bit of money. Anything else? Yeah. And this really got me. Breast milk. All right? Are you ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
Breast milk costs $3.50 an ounce. $3.50 an ounce for
Got
breast
milk?
milk. And a baby needs 25 ounces a day. Yeah. Yeah. A Beverly Hills household staffing company made news when it hired out wet nurses. And it says there don't appear to be any others, according to the La Leche League, nor any public businesses buying breast milk, but experts don't doubt that private sales routinely take place.
Well.
And it also adds in here kidneys. It says about rumors of $50,000 a piece on the black market overseas are just that, rumors. Buyers can get a kidney in a village in India or in Baghdad for $700. And if you don't like the idea of selling yourself, well, you can donate. And why not donate, you know? Donate your blood. Blood is one of the most, only 5% of eligible donors donate. And that's sad. That's another thing you can do as an American. Donate. It helps people. It helps save lives, The Red Cross. Give what you can. What am I down? Just a couple minutes, huh? I got to dig for something. I'll pull up one of these stupid ones, I guess. I know. Yeah, I'll do this one. All right. This is a letter that was in one of this week's papers. Says Lieberman should be jailed. To the Sentinel, Senator Joseph Lieberman should be immediately imprisoned for threatening the safety of the entire United States. Utilizing his logic, Saddam Hussein would have been fully justified in attacking the United States any number of times. Forget for the moment that there is no evidence that Iran is arming Iraqi guerrillas and consider how many times the United States has funded, armed, or otherwise supported foreign rebel groups. There is a marked double standard here. So long as we are doing the attacking, it is just fine to stomp around the world, but heaven help those who use our logic themselves. And it's signed John Reinhardt of Keene. And very good point. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, during World War II, or right after World War II, we should have been attacked because we had weapons of mass destruction.
Yep.
We still have weapons of mass destruction. We have nuclear bombs and nuclear missiles all over the Southwest and the Northeast and the Northwest. And they all over the friggin' place. They're out there buried, and we don't know where they are. But they're ready for use. There's a story, you probably saw this. A lady that she's facing a 5th-degree theft charge, and because she has, it's normally a misdemeanor and carries a sentence of less than a year, but she could face up to like 3 years in jail because she's had prior theft convictions. She stole toilet paper from an Iowa courthouse.
What's her last name?
Her name is Maria Butts. Yeah. That was stupid. Did you see this one? This lady in Rock Bluff, Florida, was injured over the weekend by a leaping sturgeon. A fish jumped out and whacked her in the head. She was knocked unconscious while boating. Stupid. Fish attacking people now. All right. I want to thank the crew, Greg and Jane and Mike and Bruce and Andrea. I want to thank Nick and Lee and everybody here at Cheshire TV. If you want to email me, if you've got a birthday want to be mentioned, if you've got an event you want mentioned, email me at headforlaughs@hotmail.com. Check out the website, www.unfilteredlive.com. I want to thank Cheshire TV, and remember, send your donations down here. We can really use them. A few more months, the money will run out quick. Thank my sponsors, Mom's Tattoo and Gemini Screen Print. The t-shirts are great. Till next week, peace. Oh, that's all right.